And we end this little day of catch up with What If. That's right, I'm actually doing it for a change. I try to do it. I do my best I can. I'm just one man. I don't actually make money off. If I made money off this channel, you bet your ass I'd be doing these on time. um, and this one comes to us from Brandon Whitman. Now, oh god, I don't have it in front of me. The list. Someone was giving me a couple suggestions for some Naruto-based ones, and I will get to those at some point. Just because I do a lot of DBZ ones, they were suggesting for something maybe a little different, and that's fair. I love DBZ, Dragon Ball Super, everything in between, and there's a lot of great what ifs that can be done from that universe. But fair is fair. Sometimes you should always do a different one, and I occasionally do. The problem with all the ones you gave me, again, I apologize. I actually do know your name. It's written down in the suggestion, so I know who to give the proper shout out to. It just to do those would take quite a bit of time. Well, not necessarily, but it just wasn't something I had the proper time at this moment to do. So we're doing one that I can just do real quick and get it out of the way. Excuse me. Without further ado, this came to us from Brandon Whitman, who's a longtime suggestor and viewer of mine. Thank you very much, Brandon. And he asked the question, what would happen, or what if, XANA, Z-A-N-A, acronym, I don't remember what the acronym's for, the main artificial intelligence villain of Code Lyoko, took control of Skynet. Now, to understand this, you have to understand what kind of system XANA is. XANA, depending on your pronunciation. Potato to potato, whatever. Point being, it's an evil computer program. And that's really it. Is. Now, you have to compare the two, Skynet to XANA. And Skynet was made a lot of... apparently Skynet, once it took over and tried to blow up the world, said, okay, I'm going to make this robotic army, and basically they're going to go out and kill humanity. A lot of good that did. It struggled for God knows how long, and still never, even by the end of the fourth movie, the fifth movie, and all that, it never took out the humanity to the best. So Skynet failed in that regard. XANA, and I watched a little bit of Code Lyoko, but I didn't know anything strongly about it. XANA is a computer program that mostly existed in the virtual world. It continually tried to attack our main characters in the virtual world. It had all like godlike power in that world, and was constantly trying to take over the real world. So what happens when and if you can compare them, XANA was far more malice and calculating, but that being said, by being malice and calculating and driven, it's arguably more human than Skynet was. Skynet was just a program, man. Skynet was just an AI that could not feel or anything like that. But for XANA actually gained sentience as an AI and actually did experience things like malice, like annoyance, things along those lines. So it could actually feel something to a degree, which is not something you can say about Skynet. So what happens when the individual that actually does kind of feel emotions takes over the AI that didn't feel emotion? That was just to say, okay, people are a threat to the world as a whole. I'm going to take care of this, and we're going to just kill them off and start over again. What happens to that when that AI takes over the other? Well, humanity is going to become a bit more screwed than it was in the Terminator franchise. And the reason for that is this, is that while I did not watch Code Lyoko very much, from what I can look up, XANA was a bit more effective at its job than, say, Skynet was. Now, granted, XANA was up against like 4 individuals, while Skynet was up against an entire human population, and it was failing as 4 individuals. But these are 4 superpowered individuals in their virtual world. So it's not necessarily a fair comparison to make, per se. But the reason I say that the humanity would generally be more screwed is the fact that XANA seemed to have more calculating, was more calculating, more strategic in its methods of attack. Actually, it used individuals for their plans, developed quite a bunch of unique creations. I do believe it would still, let's say it's taking over, for instance, the Terminator models when Skynet's actually made them. So by that nature, it then looks at what's going on with the Terminator models, be it the T800s, 900s, 1000s, whatever. Excuse me, and thinks, I know how I can improve this. I know where you've been going wrong. Now I'm going to basically correct the mistakes that you have made and wipe out humanity. I think because it has because its limitations are different in the real world, but because it's in the real world, it has access to everything that the real world has. So it has access to a global net, it has access to basically all military arms, like all major arms. And it can just reassemble and make more nuclear weapons. It can upgrade them to its needs, particularly if you understand like the creations of creatures it made in the virtual world. So like the T1s and stuff like that those are nothing compared to what like I mean, we do see a couple unique little Terminators. Like there's, I think, like kind of like a snake one in like Salvation that's swimming in the water. You get a couple different varieties of them, but they are kind of varied. You'd probably get more, first off, more probably animalistic versions of them. You would probably get a couple humanoid ones XANA would probably think, hey, these would be good for infiltration. I'll use those. But it would use them in a far more. It would gain trust with the humans. It would blend in. It wouldn't just say, hey, I'm human. Hi. What's that? Boom. If someone did that, it would probably use that strategically, use people to its advantage. Use it to say, okay, I found a safe location, and then, bring large amount of humans there and nuke them off the face of the planet. So if I'd speculate if XANA actually took over Skynet, XANA would completely overrun the world. XANA would completely wipe out humanity. Or let's say, okay, a percentage. Let's say this was the amount of people before Skynet threw the nukes up. This was the amount of people afterwards. If XANA took over, we'd be down to, if people were left, maybe that many. And they'd be living at like places like South America, or they'd be living on the very outskirts of everything. So they'd be trying to live in the place where Skynet just wouldn't want to go, like probably like the Arctic Circle and stuff like that, or close to the Arctic, maybe Antarctica if they can make it there. They'd be living in those areas, like inhospitable places that even electrical individuals, robots, machines wouldn't want to be in. So, yeah, if XANA took over Skynet, it would be it's just because XANA, from everything I can tell, would be more fit, because that's a big thing. That's XANA's goal, is to get into the real world and take over the real world. I feel like the moment it got into the real world, it would be more effective at doing Skynet's job than Skynet. So, that's the way I feel it would be. Now let's be clear. This what if is all hinging on the idea that one AI would take over another AI, which is very likely when you think of the nature of AI. But I don't know. You could make the argument that maybe Skynet would be too much for it. I make the argument it probably was, that in terms of the ability to override one AI from another, that Skynet would be the stronger. Skynet would be the weaker of the two. But that's my opinion. Maybe you think different. If you do, that's totally cool. No problems whatsoever. Hey, if you got an idea for what if, by the way, let me know if you think different. Put in the comments below. Let's just chat. Let's discuss. Let's have fun. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed. Ideas for who would win Star Wars, Superhero Magic, What If, anything I do in the channel, movie reviews. Put those in the comments below. Let me know. I will get to it at some point. I'm still having a little trouble with the Sternritter video for tomorrow, but so I'm actually not going to pre-record it tonight. I'll probably save it for Tuesday and just crack out Monday and Tuesdays on Tuesday. Here's the thing. Yeah, the Sternritter is Sternritter J, the jail, who has the ability to imprison someone in a energy prison, basically. So if you can think of someone who has a similar ability, either through stealing capabilities or imprisonment capabilities, let me know. Let me know if you can think of anyone. I've got someone in my head. Quite frankly, the person I'm thinking of, I'm not going to spoil who it is. it's probably going to kick that guy's ass. So I'm trying to figure someone who would be something that would be a slightly better playing field. But yeah, let me know if you can think of anyone who kind of has imprisonment ceiling kind of powers that could be a decent match against that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you folks next time.